Greetings everyone, Slizzle466 here, and in today's video we're looking at some of the best wild decks to climb with post the latest batch of nerfs. And this is a little bit of a sad video. This is the lowest number of decks I have ever had in a best decks video. I do want to say that while the meta is in a pretty awful spot, I will not be stopping creating any content. YouTube videos will continue, Twitch streams will continue. I will do my best. And so I've got 8 decks to share with you today, and I've actually ranked them from best to worst in my opinion. As you can see, we have the top deck, Questline Warlock, and then the 7 decks below it are basically all decks to counter Questline Warlock. So let's get the number 1 deck out of the way. Questline Warlock, absolutely ridiculous deck. Now, Darkglare did get nerfed to a 3 mana 3/4. Yes, the 1 cost mana kind of hurts, but having it as a 3/4 is actually pretty good. It's much more difficult to remove now, so you might even think of it as a buff in a way. Flesh Giant also got bumped up to 9 mana, and I didn't even notice when I played this deck. It doesn't matter whether it's 8 or it's 9. It's basically 0 mana, so nothing really affected the nerf there. As for the list, there are a variety of different questline lists floating around. There are fatigue lists, there are burst lists with power overwhelming. This is the most successful list. It's basically just a pretty stock giant list. It's got the Happy Ghouls there to get extra board presence. The only tech in this deck would be the Loetheb, which is a really nice tech just to slow other decks down. It's also good in the mirror. But otherwise, if you just want to get free wins, get a quick legend, just play this deck, and maybe after 10 games you'll learn it, and then bang, you'll get legend. Now moving on to the counters against Questline Warlock, we start with Questline Pirate Warrior. I admit defeat. I was really all in on not running the questline in Pirate Warrior, but the rewards you get are just so insane. With the Draw of the Weapon reward, you basically just have Ankar like we have here, and then you get pirates, cannon shots, all sorts of goodies. Incredibly aggressive list, so if you don't want to play Questline Warlock, this is your alternative. Again, if you don't like aggro decks, it's kind of too bad, you're stuck with it, but if you really don't want to play Questline Warlock, this would be your next best bet. Next up, we have Aggro Paladin. Now, Aggro Paladin, this list is not running any new cards, but it's basically just teched for the current meta. The reason this is a good deck is because of the Watch Post, the Nebera Weblord. It just really messes up the Questline Warlocks trying to do anything. You've got the Kazan Mystic in here. This is actually for the mirror, not for other mages. But otherwise, it's a really good deck. I've actually had a lot of success with it. I had like a 80% run over like 10 games while playing at Legend on EU. So definitely a deck you might want to try out. Shadow Priest. Now this is a weird archetype because I feel like this archetype only exists because of Questline Warlock. You can get turn 3, turn 4 lethal with this deck very easily. I took this deck to Legend on the Asia server. This specific list is a little different from the one I used though. It is running the Shadowcloth Needle. This is probably better to run the weapon than not run the weapon. Just getting that extra damage in, bit of a board clear, but it also means that your Southsea deckhands can attack, have charge, which is really nice. But otherwise, if you want to play Priest, this is your option. It's incredibly aggressive, not what we ever expected Priest to be. Aggro Priest originally being a meme, it's no longer a meme. However, if they do nerf Warlock any further, you might see this deck fall out of favor, so if you're kind of thinking about crafting it, I probably wouldn't, unless you really, really want to play it. Next up, we have Odd Questline Hunter. Now, Odd Hunter has always been kind of a meme, pretty big one actually. Very limited success, but with the quest line, it is a legitimate deck now. Basically, it's kind of the new Rouser Priest in a way, because you can refresh your hero power and do a whole ton of damage. It's an incredibly aggressive deck, so again, if you want to beat Questline Warlock, you got to be incredibly aggressive. And there are a lot of varieties of different builds out there, but I find this build is one of the better that you're going to find out there. Looking at Druid, we have Questline Druid. Now again, as you can see, it's an incredibly low curve. It's a very aggressive deck. It does a ton of damage out of nowhere. The quest line really helps you, just survive. Just get that armor going. Just so that you have a point where the questline Warlock has maybe completed their quest line, they're ready to play the Tamsin, but then you do a whole pile of damage out of nowhere and just whack him in the face, win the game. That's kind of a theme here. Whack him in the face or lose. Handbuff Paladin. Yes, Conviction got nerfed to 2 mana. Obviously making it unusable in Odd Paladin, which you will not see in this video, but it's still not terrible in Handbuff Paladin. And so this specific list has been catered to the current meta at High Legend. You'll see there's the Lord Barov in there, the animated broomstick, just to help with all the giants from the Questline Warlocks. But you can get a lot of burst. There's Lower Third to stall. Battleground Battlemaster is still pretty good at 6 mana. So if you want to play some Handbuff Paladin, this would be the way to do it. And last but not least, we have Overload Shaman. Again, look at the curve. Super aggressive. Tons of cards that go face. This deck is designed to beat Questline Warlock. It's also got your favorite Flurgle and Toxfin combo to help clear the board. But basically, as you can see, the wild meta is not in the best spot. There are a lot of decks missing in this video because they're just not good right now. They don't beat Questline Warlock, so they're no good. But otherwise, hopefully we get some Warlock nerfs soon. There were some words on Twitter from Ixar that maybe something's happening. But hold in there, stay positive, be nice to people, don't judge them on the decks they play. If you want to try any of these decks yourself, you'll find the deck codes in the description below. If you want to help support this channel, you can click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and until next time, hope to see you again.